Dude, there's no way I could fit that whole thing in my mouth. $10? Oh, it is on. Let me see that thing. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Hey, this is Steve Giammona from the Steve Giammona Show. In this episode, we talk to my brother, Pete Giammona. We talk about addiction, his struggles with addiction. We talk about homelessness. We talk about staying creative, staying active. It's a good episode. Check it out. What?
Welcome to Steve Giammona Show.
Yeah, cool. So what's up, man?
Not much.
Did you have a hard time fighting through all the homeless people on the way in?
Actually, no. Only one getting off the freeway there,
okay.
But it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it's pretty rough around here. They, I heard a statistic that I think it's like one a day dies. Like one homeless person a day dies in Sacramento.
In Sacramento?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's like 3 a day in LA.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. So I guess the city has funds to like figure like to pay for stuff, but they don't know what to do.
Is it just health issues or drug overdose or what?
It's a lot. Oh, like them dying?
Yeah, like
I'm
what's
sure
the
it's probably
cause?
just them being homeless and not, but yeah, like a lot of it's obviously like mental health, and then there is drugs and stuff. But I don't know. They're I don't want to say they're like super respectful, but they don't really fuck with you or anything like that.
No, I mean, just, panhandling or whatever, but I mean, that's not.
Yeah, no, they're not like super aggressive. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So every time I do one of these, I'm like, oh, I should at least have an opening question, but I don't really.
I asked you.
I'm
like,
I'm not hungover, but we had like a late night and we had an impromptu party at our house last night. So the girls went to Disney on Ice.
yeah.
And they sat in a box. We have some friends that have a friend that owns a box
Where
at Golden One.
Oh, okay.
So they did that. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. I get like a couple hours free.
Mm.
And I just cleaned the house. It was I made chicken wings. We got an air fryer.
Yeah.
And I never used it before. So I was like trying to figure out how to use the air fryer and clean the house. And then they didn't turn out too bad, but they like the first batch was burnt, but they're still pretty good. So
you just were so just in the zone cleaning. You fucking
yeah. Well, then she was like, hey, these people are coming over. And then these people are coming over. And then like the neighbors were already coming over. And it was just like, fuck, man. Now we're gonna have like 6 people, like 7 kids in the house. It was
so Katie didn't take the kids in. They went with
no,
somebody
she
else.
did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She took them. It was like a girls thing. And then she's like, oh, they only have enough tickets for us. And I was like, yeah, I'm not fucking going to Disney on Ice. But yeah, I just like got wrapped up in cleaning, which really kind of tends to happen. You're a pretty clean person too, right? Aren't you?
I'm more of like kind of an obsessive, like more of a germaphobe than necessarily like clutter. Like I have way too much shit. I obviously need to like purge and just get rid of a bunch of things, but it's more, like germs and shit that really bug me. Like just making sure like my bathroom is fucking clean. And like, like, I don't know. Do you kind of anal about that?
Well, that's like a pretty good thing to be clean.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess, but I mean, like if you were to come and like look, in my garage or, shit like that, I mean, obviously there's, an abundance of shit. But,
yeah, for sure. We have the same thing. Like I opened a closet today and I was like, God damn it. Really? Like this is fucking stupid. Were you always like aware of germophobia, or is it just something that kind of just happened one day?
I think, I don't know. Growing up and just living with other people and then, I think living with other people kind of makes you more aware of just like, you don't want to be a total slob and just, leaving your germs and shit everywhere. But I don't know. I think it's more, it's not like I'm health conscious or worried about getting sick or anything like that. But I think it's just more, just kind of a common courtesy. I don't know.
That's one thing. Like I get, so like when I start getting like overwhelmed at home,
Yeah.
I'll just start cleaning.
Right.
And I don't know what it is. Like I've been talking to my therapist who I just broke up with him.
Oh.
He was pretty lame. He was like 85.
Oh. Fuck.
And then just kind of, oh, well, maybe it's, what's that?
Well, like you guys like weren't like on the same level
No,
just
not
because as
at
far
all.
as like, yeah.
Yeah. And like,
age.
I was talking to him. He's like, well, maybe your wife is the one. I'm like, no, bro. Like I'm the fucking problem. Like she's not the problem. I am. And, yeah, he'd be like,
well, at least you guys got that out there.
yeah. He'd be like, maybe she's just too hard on you. I'm like, no, man, like it's all me. But like, that's what I'll just start cleaning. And it's like, it's just that crazy spiral type thing. And I don't know if I was talking to him about this. I just broke up with him the other day.
How do you take it?
I left him a voicemail. I was like, hey man, I can't come in.
Couldn't even do it in person.
No, I was like, I can't come in this week. And then I'm also just going to be exploring other options. And, I haven't heard from him. So,
Oh, well.
but I feel like he was like
No news. is good news.
kind of like getting ready to retire too. He was
So
pretty
he's
nonchalant.
checked out, basically.
Yeah. Like the sessions were an hour. And then the last one was like 50 minutes. And he'd be
So-
like, all right, so that's our time. I'm like, what? $20.
What makes you feel, or what did you guys like discover that made you feel like you're the problem in the relationship?
Oh, because I am.
Oh,
Like,
I know.
Oh,
Like,
I don't
How?
know, because it wasn't always, I feel like I'm getting better. I'm more aware of it now, but the whole cleaning thing, I didn't talk to him about this. I just kind of realized it the other day when I was like, I wonder if that comes from living in kind of a messy house. Like our
Growing
house.
up?
Yeah. Like it
Yeah.
was never like trashed,
No.
but it wasn't uncommon for dishes to be in the sink for like
Right.
days at a time.
and honestly, yeah, I get that too. I think it's just from I didn't like living like that, not necessarily. I mean, like you said, yeah, it wasn't like we were, living in a pigsty, but yeah, just, dad wasn't the super cleanliest guy, and so like, I don't know, just those kind of habits I didn't want to carry on or whatever. But so like, what specifically like is like what do you bring to it that you feel is your biggest issue, like to your relationship? Like, why do you think
I'll
that you're
just
a
go
problem?
from like 0 to 60.
Oh,
Not like flipping out, screaming, shit like that, but it's just like that kind of like, fuck, panicky.
get like frustrated easily or like irritated easily.
Yeah, more the irritation easily,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like, it sucks. It's like our house is always kind of fucking crazy.
Well, you have two little girls. Yeah.
A 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they're just nuts. Like
Right.
they're rad, they're hilarious. But like when I left, they were both like hangry.
Okay.
So they were eating and they were fine, but like 5 minutes before I left, they were both screaming. And I was like, I gotta go soon.
Oh shit.
But yeah, I think too, there's a lot of, I don't want to say like PTSD is like a legit
Right.
serious thing. But I think after I left the trucking company, there's a lot of like, I have like residual. It's almost like I took that responsibility and the pressures of that job, left, and then just carried them over to like home.
So
It's a weird thing. It's not.
you were projecting your issues from work on your home life, you mean? Like,
Yeah, but then when I left, like I took all the pressures, was like, oh fuck, that's off my back.
yeah, but you still,
But it's still like, it still triggers me in a weird way. So, but I don't know.
so how does Katie handle those situations? Like when, like today, like when you had to leave and the kids are screaming, is she just like, whatever, like go? Or is it just like, like I need help, like I need you to stay or whatever?
No, I mean, she knew I was doing this.
Right.
Like I've already let her know, like, hey, this is the schedule for the next two. But I mean, she wasn't pumped. But like they were fine. They were just hanging out, like eating. But yeah, they're both just like in the last couple days, like Ruby's gotten a lot nicer, but she's also more like just kind of moody. Like today, she just
early.
she kicked me. She's like, I'm hungry, and just kicked me. I'm like, no, dude, like don't fucking kick me. And then Emily is just like, I think she's teething, but she doesn't know she's teething. And like, I think she's probably going through a growth spurt too.
Yeah.
So they're just like all out of whack.
Yeah, I didn't realize like kids like going through like growth spurts, like it, I guess it's painful like when you're little.
Yeah.
Like I didn't, growing up you're too little to really, remember that or know that. But yeah.
Well, they call them growing pains.
Or yeah, that's what I mean. But I
think it's
really
just
know.
like
I thought that was just a term,
No, because she'll ask us to like rub her legs
Mm-hmm.
and like before bed. I think it's just calms her down. But then like at the same time too, like I think it is growing pains. So
yeah, I always thought that it was just like a term for like having to deal with little children, like,
yeah.
and a show.
Yeah. Great show. You remember was it that show? There was the character named Boner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it Growing Pains?
Yeah.
What a fucking, like nobody caught that. Nobody caught that. Like, and then we're going to have a character named Boner.
Yeah.
All right. When's this going to air? Friday nights.
Perfect.
At 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know how deep you want to get into this, but you've had kind of a crazy past.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think nowadays it's more common, I think. I don't know. But yeah, like, I mean, what are you referring to? Drugs or addiction or what? I mean,
all of it. I mean, I find like the whole addiction thing is really interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Because like going back to the trucking company, that's when I realized like, okay, this has to end. Because it was like, this is so bad for me. I know it's bad for me. It's not good. Like I'm dying, but I'm so in love with it. And I can't think of like not doing it. That's like the closest I've come to like feeling addicted to something.
Like, what were you in love with? Just because
the rush, the puzzle, the how the fuck are we going to do that?
Yeah.
And then like nailing it. And then just like, that all of a sudden you're like, oh, I just worked a fucking 12-hour day.
Right. And
you didn't even notice
right.
it. And I haven't eaten lunch in like 4 days. But I don't know if that's just me looking too far into things, but that's kind of like, for me, that's addiction, right? Where it's super bad for you, but you can't stop because you love it.
Well, yeah.
In other ways.
I mean, for me, it was just, I couldn't stop because like I was physically addicted, like my body, like, or else I would get sick, dope sick basically. But yeah, I mean, it is too, I've heard of a lot of people not only like being addicted just to the drugs themselves, but like, and not for me personally, but I've heard other people say like just the ritual of getting high, like, whatever it was, whatever they did, snorting it, whatever, crushing it up or putting it in a spoon and cooking it or whatever that was, like that was more of a high for them sometimes than actually, injecting the drugs or whatever. But yeah, no, I mean, I basically I wouldn't say right out of high school, but in high school, just started smoking weed, drinking, partying, a lot of kids these days. But back in the early 2000s, that was kind of like the beginning of OxyContin was becoming really big and Vicodin and all that stuff. And then, that just kind of
that was
spiraled.
That was so weird because the people I lived with at the time, like it really took over. I never got into it. I think I've done pills like 3 times and I was like, this sucks. I don't like this at all. I remember one time I took a Xanax because they would just have Xanax like on the counter. And I'm like, oh, what's this thing? And they were like, oh, it just makes you feel kind of fucked up. I'm like, all right. And I took it and then I stood up and it was crazy. Like I felt like I was going to pass out.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you're not, tolerant to that stuff or if you've never taken it before, first time. Yeah, that shit'll.
Yeah. It just brought a weird vibe too. Cause it went from being like, hey, we're going to party and hang out, blah, 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 to all of a sudden like, who the fuck is this guy? Like,
hey everybody, if you liked what you just heard and you'd like to hear more than just a 14-minute long clip, like and subscribe to Steve Giammona Show. It can be found on YouTube, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcast, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Thanks again, everybody. Really appreciate it. Okay. Does that work?